Hello, and welcome to Largo in Prince George's County, Maryland, not far from the former site of Six Flags of America, and we're having a town hall tonight here. I guess the county executives and the investment firm, they're gonna speak with a couple of residents tonight and be like, hey, what do you guys want here? What are you looking forward to? I have no idea what's about to happen tonight. I'm hoping for some fireworks. I'm hoping for some drama. I don't know if it would be appropriate for me to kind of, stir the pot, but, I'm gonna kind of lay low tonight. I'm gonna kind of play it cool. So just to recap for those who don't know, Six Flags America closed at the end of 2025. This park had been around for over 50 plus years and had tons of history. Built in Prince George's County in Maryland, it was first an animal preserve, then it became the amusement park known as Wild World, then Adventure World, and then it was finally bought by the Six Flags Company and turned into Six Flags America. This is some true man on the street theme park reporting content that you're not going to see anywhere else. I'm surprised there's already a considerable line of people out the door waiting to get in. We got the news. The news is here. The news is here. They're almost as good as I am. Real quick, drip update. I am wearing khakis. If you wear khakis, you look a little bit more professional. It's kind of like the white guy cheat code. You wear some khakis and you can get into a lot of places. This park, unfortunately, had earned the reputation of being one of the worst Six Flags in all of America, even though it really wasn't.
The amusement park in Bowie was shut down an hour early Saturday night after a series of fights you see right there broke out during the annual Fright Fest.
News and theme park enthusiasts really looked down at this place and often said it was overrun with unruly teenagers and mobs, even though it wasn't. Now, yes, there are a couple incidents that happened around the annual Halloween event Fright Fest. I believe something happened back in 2014 or 2013, and then again back in 2021. And all of this stuff was played on repeat on all local news stations.
When she saw the large crowds gathering and a stampede of people,
it was just chaos.
Videos like these later started popping up on social media sites from Saturday night.
You can see them fighting, you can see them punching, you can see people falling down. And I was just completely floored.
Needless to say, the stigma at this park was pretty negative in the minds of residents and local politicians. This was a freak incident where a couple people decided to ruin it for a lot of good guests. Regardless, Fright Night was always a little bit of an issue at this park. No surprise they decided to cancel it in the final year of operation for the park. Personally, I had never really witnessed any of that type of activity firsthand. I'm not saying that it didn't actually happen, but for the most part, everybody I met there, either who worked there or went there, was really cool and just fun to hang out with. I just think it's really important to kind of bring up the Halloween and Fright Fest and kind of the handful of incidents that happened at this park, because I feel like that's always in the back of every resident's mind when discussing Six Flags. So who was a part of this panel at this town hall? Like I mentioned at the start of this video, back in April of 2026, the park was bought by 35V, an investment firm co-founded by NBA All-Star and multi-time champion and Twitter troll, Kevin Durant. Who wasn't at this meeting? His mom, though, she was there. She apparently is going to be a part of the project in some way.
What I do know why this is important to me and to Kevin and our family is because this is home for us. We've been here for 4 generations now.
And this was more or less the first time somebody representing Kevin Durant and or the 35V investment firm met with the community. And that was really important because up to this point, it had really been a mystery what this investment firm planned on doing with the property. Because so far, a lot of the park has been more or less left there to rot. Six Flags is removing various small rides and all its branding, as we've all seen from my wonderful drone videos. You know, we can just like watch the park die in real time, a slow and inevitable death. There's unfortunately been no real news or confirmation on what is going to happen with some of the park's most iconic rides and coasters. That's what's on everybody's mind right now. What are you doing with the Wild One? What's happening with the Superman Ride of Steel ride and Batwing and all these other things? Are we going to get some answers tonight? Now, the person who spoke the most at this meeting was Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy. What's really funny was one of the guys that was sitting by me, he kept saying, "Oh, she's just here for the Photoshop." I think he meant photo shoot, but I just kept thinking of that in my head. Oh, she's here for the Photoshop. She's here for the Photoshop. I was like, it's a pretty good song. TM, trademark, don't steal my idea. And one of the very first things Braveboy brought up was the annual revenue that the Six Flags property had brought in. And let me tell you that this is very important because it was brought up a lot throughout this meeting.
And I was surprised to find out that the county generated only about 3 to 3.5 million annually from the Six Flags site. Because it's such an iconic site, right? Yeah. With the rides and the Wild Waves. Who was here for Adventure World, Wild World, Wildwood?
And here's the crazy thing. Six Flags America was only using a very small percentage of the land, which is actually 515 acres. That is a number that I heard a lot throughout this meeting. 515 acres, 515 acres, and so on, and 515 acres. Which brings me to the next person in this panel, and that was TPA Group Development Lead Adam Rashid, a person who is borderline obsessed with that number, 515 acres. I mean, he was literally salivating at that number when discussing what could happen with this property.
Just the scale of this opportunity, 515 acres.
More on this guy a little bit later in the video, because the TPA group is really the ones we should be keeping an eye on going forward. And of course, Durants Mom.
The real MVP.
If you know, you know. I feel like they just kind of paraded her out like it was a celebrity, and they're just being like, oh, yay, that's great. Anytime she spoke, like everyone got real quiet and was real excited about what she had to say. She didn't offer a lot of insight. She just was, you know, a native member of the community. You know, she likes Prince George's County. Her and her son like it. That's really it. Let me take you back to the start of this town hall meeting. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty of the details here. First off, this meeting room was cramped. I can only find a spot to stand in at the very back of the room, right up against the wall in front of the emergency exit, which had to have been a fire hazard. I think I got here a little bit too late. I'm stuck at the very back. It was also very, very, very hot in there. I was roasting, I was sweating, and that really made you feel the tension or the angst just floating in the air, in the thick, humid air.
Technology.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wayne K. Curry Administration Building.
Mike is not working. It's not working.
It didn't help that the microphones for the speakers of the panel weren't working, or they weren't on. There was some type of issue with it. They couldn't get them working for the first 15-20 minutes of this meeting.
The microphone is on, but the speakers are off.
Here we go. Can you hear me now?
No, we can hear you.
And everybody in the room was quick to point out and share that the speakers weren't on. We can't hear you. Even though they could, if they just were quiet and listened, you could hear everybody. I swear the median age of this town hall was like 60. Also, there was this really annoying woman who just kept coughing right into my microphone on my camera. And because the microphones at the podium for the speakers weren't working, I had to turn up my microphone on my camera like all the way to capture clean audio of them talking. And every time she coughed, it was like a sonic boom in my freaking ear. And then like her friend next to her was like, hey, do you want a cough drop? Because you're coughing a lot. She's like, oh God, oh yuck. No, I don't want that. I'll just keep coughing.
We are here to answer as many questions as possible while respecting your time.
So as we all waited for the microphones to start working, various MCs wanted to keep the meeting going. Eventually, finally, the microphones were turned on and everybody in the room could relax and stop saying, "We can't hear you."
And so I'm excited about reimagining Six Flags. And I believe that it can be a destination, not just for our county, which we want folks in our county to stay in the county, to shop, dine, entertain, all of those things in the county. But we also want to invite visitors from Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, Washington, other places, as well as internationally. 515 acres, we could do a lot with that, right? There can be multiple uses. We still want to have an element that attracts families, our children. We have to give our children something positive to do. That's important. But I think this is an opportunity for us to do that all year round as opposed to just during a season.
And this is when Aisha Braveboy stepped in and really hammered home all the crucial talking points and buzzwords that we will hear about this property going forward, probably for the next decade.
And I can tell you that the zip codes surrounding this site are some of the highest median incomes in the state of Maryland, which means we can demand and we can deliver. We can demand the best because we have the disposable income.
So basically, from my understanding, politicians and developers are looking at the income of the residents surrounding this area and just seeing dollar signs. They're like, oh, we got to get them. Somehow in this economy, I don't know why they were bringing that up so much, disposable income. They just kept saying it over and over again. I'm like, maybe not in this right now with what's going on. And there's data to support the fact that a lot of the residents go out of the county, even sometimes to neighboring states, to spend money on shopping, food, and or entertainment.
We want it. It's coming to Prince George's County. Well, what that also means is that we want and we can get additional higher end retail, restaurants, and other venues here in this county.
And the Prince George's County executive was so excited that the new, like a smaller version of the Vegas Sphere is going to be built at the National Harbor. And I mean, that god-awful eyesore energy hog of a sphere, which only a couple of people are going to care about for like the first year, and then everyone's going to be bored of it and move on.
We've had the pleasure and honor of working with Six Flags. They've asked that we stop calling it Six Flags because they do own a company that's called Six Flags. They sold this property. They did not sell their company as Six Flags. So that's something that we would have to work with you all on a name.
And here's the thing. I'll stop calling it Six Flags America when I'm dead and cold in the ground. Okay, so finally we get to the quote-unquote town hall aspect of this meeting, which was actually curated questions that they had collected in a survey beforehand. So correct me if I'm wrong, but normally when I think of a town hall meeting, I think of, a microphone in the hands of various people in the crowd, and they're asking questions to the panel and or whomever's in charge at the time. The curated questions that they selected to ask the panel ahead of time, not the best look, we'll say.
Could the site include a park with trails, even amenities like horseback riding? Adam?
Most of the questions or suggestions were pretty simple. Will you guys build this? Can you guys build that? We like this. What about that? I mean, the main problem is we are so early in the process of developing this property that nobody knows anything. They don't really have a definitive idea of what they want to build. They just kind of have like a vision or an idea or like a feeling, like we can try this, maybe try that. They're just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what kind of sticks at this point. Actually, I think that's even too far in advance. I think they are just now getting together and just formulating the most basic idea of what they want to build.
I'm loath to say as a developer that we will be able to deliver something for everybody. That's always a hard thing to do. But on a project like this, at a scale like this, we really do feel that we have the opportunity to do that. And so, we're here tonight. We're early on in the process. But when we start a process, when we start a development, it starts with a vision. And so we have a development vision that's really this ability to deliver a generative ecosystem that is focused on health, wealth, and community.
But, they keep going back to a lot of buzzwords like health, wealth, and community.
The vision that we have for this to be truly a 18-hour city where folks can live, work, and play.
Or an 18-hour city, which is meaning like you work at this area, and then when you're done with work, you go to like a restaurant or shopping or whatever, and just spend the money that you just earned while working in this area. Therefore, an 18-hour city. Great.
And we really are driven by kind of 5 pillars that truly drive that ecosystem. And our goal is to program the land, program the different uses, program our partners around these 5 pillars.
So the TPA 5 pillars are, number 1, entertainment.
We believe that this is a place that can truly be a world-class entertainment destination. The survey result that has gotten some of the highest marks is this idea of a chef-driven food hall and dining destination.
Number 2, education.
So from early childhood to workforce training, all the way through financial literacy.
Number 3, health and wellness. This was probably the most vague of the pillars. I don't even think they really know what that means. They're just like, well, there's an old folks home around the corner.
We have a very thriving, seniors community across the street.
And we want people to eat more fruits and vegetables.
That has fresh foods, that has fresh vegetables.
I think they're kind of lost with that. They're just like, just throw in health and wellness into the pillar talk. Number 4, housing.
About housing that goes from workforce through seniors, right, and everywhere in the middle.
And finally, number 5, innovation.
We are here in the middle of what people would describe as the 4th industrial revolution. We think our community has the ability to really step into that.
And this is by far the most troubling of the 5 pillars, because as soon as he said that, you could hear the word data center just flow through the room. Everybody began whispering that data center, data center. They just turned to the left and right, data center, data. They all knew what innovation meant.
We wanted to design spaces. We wanted to foster investment that really drives innovation and allows us to be a part of all the wealth creation through innovation. And what's being described as the 4th industrial revolution.
So let's look into what the TPA group is all about. First thing you see when visiting their website is a nice image of some fresh flowing water. Huh. They build a little bit of everything: industrial, residential, office, self-storage, digital infrastructure. So they have built data centers in states like Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and soon to be in Texas, and maybe Maryland. About us. The TPA Group is a private real estate investment, acquisition, and development firm committed to excellence with a proven strategy that transcends the marketing cycle. And my eyes just rolled back in my head when I was reading that sentence, because it is the most generic kind of buzzwords, SEO, whatever you want to call. I've heard this a million times with other marketing companies, with any company in general. A strategy that transcends the marketing cycle.
At a mix of uses that can elevate our local economy.
The rest of the meeting was just generic questions. Nobody could say yes or no to anything. They're like, yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. We don't know yet. Every once in a while, somebody in the panel would provide some generic stat about the county while adding what they would like to see be built in some way. This new, entertaining, educational, health, innovative housing area, which attracts people from all around the country. It's a lot. They want to do a lot of things here. Currently, the property, the Six Flags America property, is only zoned for entertainment. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't change it. They probably are actively trying to figure out ways to change it. But as the meeting went on and my optimism for the future of rides like the Wild One and Superman Ride of Steel, or as I like to call it, the Slim Reaper, that's an idea that I came up with, Kevin Durant, and you're allowed to use that if you keep some element of the amusement park intact. If not, I'm taking the name back. That's mine. That's mine for another roller coaster that I will build. Anyway, my optimism began to plummet. This is one of the most depressing things I have ever witnessed. And Six Flags is doomed. Sorry, you can't call it Six Flags anymore.
So I think we're on the same page as our community, but I think these dialogues help us flesh out exactly what we can do. So again, thank you all for being here.
Eventually, Braveboy left because I think she it felt the tide turning in the room, and she's like, I gotta get out of here. This could look real bad. People were beginning to get restless. A lot of questions weren't being answered, and the curated questions just it weren't helping. Nobody cared about them. So, at the very end of the meeting, once they said, thank you, get out, a couple residents decided to stand up and actually ask some real things and address some real concerns.
So with that, I really just want to say thank you.
The people I kept in the background, so I wish y'all answer this question. They want to make sure it's not going to be data centers there.
I can tell you right now, there's no programming planned at all. That you've heard no programming. We're taking the community input. We're still just dealing with a very, very high level, but we want to come out and talk to your individual community. So if you can absolutely use a survey for comments, questions, and things of that nature. Okay? So with that, thank you all so much.
You still didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question.
Make sure that what you put there does not lower the value of the property.
The highest property values.
Right, so thank you. We'll take that into account.
Housing value.
Have a wonderful evening.
That was depressing. Yeah, it was depressing. Okay, so here are my key takeaways and opinions on what could happen. Emphasis on could. I have no proof behind any of this. This is just my assumptions and opinions. In fact, maybe none of this might happen at all, but who knows? This is just how I'm feeling as of right now in the middle of 2026 after this first town hall meeting. First, I don't think any of the residents want another amusement park in this area, or anything that even resembles an amusement park. Nothing where teenagers can go cause all kinds of quote-unquote trouble in their minds. The county executives do not want an amusement park here because Six Flags America only operated a couple months out of the year. It wasn't a full 12-month amusement park. They closed at the end of October and then reopened around April. So that's like 4 or 5 months that the park is closed and the county can't make money from the park. So why would they want to build a place that's only in operation for like a little over half the year? No, they want something that's going to be all year round. They want a place that will bring in the most money for 12 months out of the year. Circling back to the whole, like, residents don't want, a place for kids, which is kind of ironic because one of the pillars that they were all about was the education. They want a place where we can educate both young and old and have a place for kids, essentially. Whether that be a park, whether it be a trail, something, they want an area where kids can go. Until a fight or a disagreement breaks out between a couple kids, and then all the residents are going to be like, nope, curfew installed. In fact, no kids allowed. No kids allowed in this area. I'm like, you're going to see that problem no matter what. No matter what you build, you're going to attract people. And guess what? Teenagers are people too. And they don't spend as much money as you want and hope for at these restaurants or malls or whatever. In fact, they just kind of walk around and loiter. They're not buying anything. They're wasting space. I just feel like this community says one thing, like, oh, we want a place for kids, we want to help kids, but then as soon as it becomes too much work or too much of a hassle, screw them kids, get them out of here. Now, granted, some of those concerns are legitimate, but like with anything, when you have a lot of people in one area, there's gonna be people that, you know, are aggressive or get into fights or this and that. It happens everywhere. And second, what will they actually build in this area? Sadly, it's going to be a data center or some element of a data center, or like a corporate park and a data center, or a corporate park, a data center, and like a small shopping area with like a PF Chang's or a Sprouts or some new flavor of the month retail restaurant space that people will be really into when they first build it, but then like a couple months down the line or a year or two later, they're just gonna be like, oh, this place, this is so boring, and then it'll be a ghost town, just like every other retail shopping space. It ebbs and flows with the economy. And, you know, 35V and Kevin Durant want a return on their investment, meaning they're gonna build whatever generates the most revenue for them and their portfolio. And really, the county executives don't care what people think at the end of the day, because
there might be a public outcry for a while, but then you know what happens? People forget. They don't remember, they don't care. They just don't care. It's just going to be another everyday common tragedy.
And that also means that they'll be able to generate more than $3 million a year at this place. And then in like, I don't know, 15 or 20 years, 35V and Kevin Durant will sell this property to whomever and then be done with it. And, you know, then that company will build whatever there. Hopefully we'll have like a little placard commemorating the history of the amusement park that used to be there. Maybe we'll have like a little wall somewhere and being like, this is Wild World, this is this and that. And the roller coasters are doomed. It costs too much money for them to work on and deal with, and it just brings too much headache. They're gonna be like, no, too much work. We're only gonna have kids ride it a couple months out of the year, and then we'll close it down. And the maintenance and upkeep is just gonna be too costly. Just bulldoze them, get rid of them. And I really wish I had some better, less depressing news, but I don't. It is very unfortunate that this is really the end. This is really it. Unless something big happens and some big turnaround thing, who knows? But currently, Six Flags America, Wild World, Adventure World, an amusement park, it will never come back. I don't even think they will save one of the roller coasters. I think they're doomed. It is just a matter of time before they get bulldozed. So there is a survey, I think, that is still online somewhere, that maybe we can really mess up the algo and try to force their hand at rebuilding Six Flags America. We can't call it Six Flags America anymore, even though I will. To rebuild an amusement park of some kind, whether it's Kevin Durant Land, Kenny's wonderful, amazing, cool amusement park for cool people. I don't know, but maybe we can kind of, start a good protest in some way and force them to not build a frickin' data center. Really, that's the big thing. If we could force them to not build a data center, I think we will have won in some way. No data centers, at least. If we can't get an amusement park, we can't get a theme park, no data center, please. Everybody hates a data center. Everybody. For a multitude of reasons. How is that fair? We go from having a potential rundown great amusement park with tons of character and really good rides to a frickin' data center. How is that fair? Kevin Durant, do the right thing. Do the right thing for once in your frickin' life. And don't build a data center. You tell TPA Group, be like, no data center. No stupid shopping mall. We want roller coasters, baby.